Hi there everybody, my name is Ali and today we are doing Vulnerability from TryHackMe. This box was fairly simple. We have a file upload functionality. We will upload a malicious shell onto the web server and gain initial foothold. In the privilege escalation part, we have an Suid binary. We will exploit that binary to gain root access. So let's jump directly onto the box. I have already started my machine and my IP address is 10.10.238.52. Now I will start off with the Nmap scan, Nmap-A for aggressive scan, -V for verbosity, and then the IP address of the target, which is 10.10.238.52. This can take some time to run, so I already have run it. Let's see the results. Looking at the results, we see we have a lot of ports open. Starting from to port 21, the service running is FTP and the version is vsftpd 3.0.3. The very first thing we can do is we can simply copy the version. We can go to Google and say, do we have any exploit for this version? If yes, download the exploit and run that exploit and we have an initial foothold. But right now vsftpd 3.0.3 is quite updated, so we might not have any exploit for this version. Then we have port 22, which is SSH, and the banner tells us that open SSH 7.2 P2 is running, and we also have our operating system as well, and we know Ubuntu is running. Then we have SMB ports 139 and 445. Both of them are SMB, and we are also having SMB version here, which is 4.3.11. Then we have two web servers running, one on 3128, the second one on 3333. The one running on 3128 is Suid HTTP proxy 3.5.12. Again, the very same thing, we can go to Google and say, do we have any exploit for Suid HTTP proxy 3.5.12? If yes, we can download the exploits, modify the exploit, and simply run the exploit and try to gain initial foothold. And we have again the last server, which is 3333, and we are having Apache web server, which is 2.4.18. So I will start my enumeration with port 21 FTP. The very first thing I will do is I will simply go to FTP and I will say that can I log in as anonymous? So I will do FTP IP address of the web server. It will ask me for username and password. I will simply type in anonymous as the username, and in the password I will type in anonymous as well. And let's see what it says. It says login incorrect. That's fine. Let's try with root and root because sometimes default passwords are being used. So let's try root as the username, root as the password. Again, login failed. And one last time, let's go for admin. So admin in the username, admin in the password. And again, I am having login incorrect. So vsftpd is not vulnerable right now. Let's go to Searchsploit and we can do Searchsploit vsftpd, hit enter, and let's see, do we have any exploit for version 3? But right now we can see we are having all of these exploits for version 2. There is no exploit for version 3 or above than 3. So I think so we should move on to some other port because 21 is of no use for us right now. Now, if you don't know what Searchsploit is a database that contains a list of huge exploits, and we can simply do Searchsploit and type in the service name which we want exploit, and we will be having a lot of exploits for those service. But right now we are not having any exploit for vsftpd 3.0.3. That's fine. Let's see what else we can do. Then we have port 22. Port 22 is SSH, and we need some sort of login credentials to get into the box. So right now I am not having any sort of username and password, so port 22 is also of no use for us. Then we have SMB ports 139 and 445. What we can do is, the very first thing we can do list shares by doing Smbmap. So I will do Smbmap -h for host and then the IP address of the target, which is 10.10.238.52. Now what it will do is it will show me some shares where some potential file may be present with a username or password in it. You never know, but trying some enumeration is very important. So let's see what it gives us. And we can also do one more thing which is the same as Smbmap, but the name of the tool is different, which is Smbclient. So Smbclient -capital L for list of shares. Then we have 4 forward slashes, then the IP address of the web server, which is 10.10.238.52, then 2 forward slashes again, and hit enter. It will ask us for the password. Just press enter and it will list the shares as well. So we can see both of the tools are giving the same results, and we have 2 shares, plain dollar, Now Smbmap also tells us that whether we have any permissions over these. If we have, we can access the share. If we don't have, we cannot access any share. Right now there are two shares, print dollar, IPC dollar, and both of them are having no access, so we cannot do anything. And in the SMB client, it has given us the same shares, but right now it does not know whether we have any permissions, so that's fine. Using a lot of tools helps us. So right now in SMB we don't have any other things as well, so we are left with web servers only. One web server is running on port 3128, the second one is running on 3333. So let's see what's running on 3128. I'll go to my browser, type in the IP address of the web server, which is 110.110.238.52, followed by 3128, which is my port, and hit enter, and let's see what it shows us. It says error, the requested URL could not be retrieved, and it looks like some sort of an error message, but at the very bottom we see we have vulnerability Suid 3.5.12. We can also do Searchsploit against this. So Searchsploit Suid, and let's see, do we have any exploit for Suid proxy 3? We do have some exploit for Suid proxy right here, but again the version is quite low, 2.4 and 2.5. The second one 2.5 and 2.6, so hopefully we do not have any exploit for Suid. So we can also view the page source by pressing Ctrl U onto the keyboard, because sometimes there might be some interesting information in the view page source. But right now we are not having anything interesting here, so that's fine. Let's move on to the second web server, which was running on port 3333, and we have Apache web server running on port 3333. So let's see what is running there. And viewing the web server running on 3333, we see a university website which is quite interesting. So the very first thing I do is I like to click on different buttons. So let's click on home button, because understanding the functionality of the website while doing a penetration test is very important. So when I clicked on home button, we see we are having index.html here. The very first thing I'd like to do is I will go to change the URL, and let's see, do we have any PHP files. So I will do index.php, hit enter, and it says PHP not found, index.php not found. That's fine. Let's click on other buttons like about, and it moves us nowhere. We can see a hashtag sign, which means nothing is going on. Courses, nothing. Teacher, nothing. Blog, nothing. Event, nothing. Contact, nothing. And apply now moves us nowhere. So it seems to me that this is a static web page. If I scroll down, nothing interesting. We see some dates as well, July 12th 2018, and nothing else. We have some email, but again it is a random email, info@joedomain.com, and phone number and address. I think so anything is not interesting. Then the very first thing I will do is I will go for directory brute forcing, because we might have some other files instead of index.php here. So it's very important that we should do directory brute forcing. So for directory brute forcing, we have a lot of tools. We have dir, dirbuster, dirsearch, gobuster, but I like to use is gobuster. So the syntax is gobuster, and let's see the help menu for this one. We can see I want to do directory brute forcing, so dir is the command which will help us doing directory brute forcing, and it says uses directory file enumeration mode. So I will see the help menu for dir, so gobuster dir and -h for help, and we see all of the flags which we can use with dir command. So the commands which I will be going to use is -u for URL, because I need to specify the target URL. Then I will go for word list, which is -w, and I will specify the word list as well, because we need to specify the word list so that it should find out all of the files. And I think so that is enough. I will also specify the extensions, and I know that Apache web server is running, so I will highly recommend that you should go for PHP file extension. So let's start. So Gobuster dir -u for URL. The URL is http 10.10.238.52 on port 3333, and I will use a word list which is already installed in Kali Linux. It's present in user share word list dirbuster, and the word list name is directory list 2.3 medium.txt. This is already installed in Kali Linux, so you don't need to install it. And if I show you how many words are there in this word list, we can simply copy the path. We can do word count -l and hit enter. We can see we have 220,560 words in this list. So these are a lot, and hopefully we will find all of the directories which we want onto the web server. Then I will go for extensions of PHP because Apache web server is running, and I also like to do some threading for speeding up the process. Let's do 50 threads. If I hit enter, let's see whether we have any directories, and we directly found image is. So let's see what is in images. Images, and we have a bunch of images. Let's click on any random image, and we see we are having all of the images which are present on the home page. So I think so nothing interesting in this directory. Then we have CSS. Again, CSS looks like some random static language which is used for designing, so nothing interesting will be there. Then we have JavaScript. Again, nothing interesting. Fonts, again nothing interesting. And then we have one strange directory which is internal. Now internal looks interesting. Let's see what's running there. So I'll copy internal from there. I will go to my URL, paste internal, hit enter, and it looks like we are having some sort of upload functionality. So the very first thing, whenever I see this upload functionality, I will always try to upload some natural images or some text file, because I need to see what sort of file extensions I can upload. So let's come to our terminal. I will create a file called test.txt, and I will write down, like, let's say hello into this. So echo hello into this test file. If I cat this test file, we can see we have hello in there. Let's try to upload this. So I will click on browse. Let's go to my home, TryHackMe-Vulnversity, and test.txt. If I click on open, click on submit, it gives me an error message, extension not allowed. So I cannot upload text files. But the strange thing which here is, we have another file, which means we have index.php, which means that there are some files into this internal directory as well. And the strange thing is that we have some PHP as well. So let's do directory brute forcing in internal directory first in the background, and let's try to bypass the upload functionality. So I will control C this one, and I will simply change the URL from this to internal. Now if I hit enter, and let's see, do we have any strange files? We see index.php, we have uploads, and let's make it running in the background while we try to upload some files. Now I cannot upload text files. Can we upload images? So let's try to download an image. So I found some images there. So if I go to images, we have all of these images. Let's try any random image like image1. I will copy the URL, download the image. So to download the image, I will use wget, paste the URL, hit enter, and it will download the image into my current working directory. So let's try to upload this image. So I will again go to internal, click on browse, and select this image, click on open, submit, and it says extension not allowed. That's fine. Let's make a PHP file because Apache web server is running, so hopefully it might be possible that there is some PHP files uploaded. So let's create test.php, echo hello into text.php, And let's come here, browse, and I will upload this PHP file. Click on open, submit, and it says again extension not allowed. So I think so it's not allowing me to upload anything. That's fine. Let's now intercept the request in Burpsuite, and here what I will do is I will try to do a brute force attack against the extensions. I will try all of the extensions and I will check that what sort of extensions are being uploaded, and I will try to bypass some sort of filters as well. So let's see what we can do. So for this purpose I will use Burpsuite, and in my Burpsuite I will turn my intercept on. I will go to my add-on which is Foxy Proxy. I will turn Burpsuite from here, and now if I click on browse, test.php, open, submit, and we can see we have the request being intercepted in our Burpsuite. Now what I can do is I can simply send this request to repeater and turn my intercept off, go to repeater, click on send, and we can see the response as well, and in the response we can see extension not allowed. Now the reason why I am using Burpsuite is because I can change the request, I can do anything into the request. So if this request is post, so I can change the post to get, and let's see what it says. So when I send the get request, it does not show me anything. That's fine. Let's change the request to post again, send, we see extension not allowed. Now I can change the extension from test.php to, let's say, txt, send, extension not allowed. Let's do jpeg image, jpg, extension not allowed. Now I will use my intruder functionality for doing a brute force attack against extensions, but I need a list of extensions. So for that I will go to Google, and the resource which I will be going to use is payload all the things, because that's amazing website for doing penetration testing stuff. Payload all the things, and it contains a list of all of the vulnerabilities, how to test those vulnerabilities, and we can see we have all of the vulnerabilities. But right now I am interested in file upload, so I will search for upload, and here we have upload insecure files. And if I scroll down a little bit, we can see some extensions as well here, and the default extensions for PHP web server are these all. Then we have ASP. If we are running Windows, most probably I will be going for ASP. Then we have, if we have Tomcat, I will be going to for JSP and JSPX. And if we have Adobe Cold Fusion, I will be going for these extensions. But right now I am running Apache, so hopefully I will be going after PHP extensions. So let's create a file called extensions. I will paste all of these extensions from here to my file. And the reason why I'm copying these in files, because in Burpsuite, if we do brute forcing with a period sign at the very beginning, it will never work and it will never give you the results. So what I will do is I will do Control H onto my keyboard, and I will remove all of the periods from the starting. So I will do Control H. In the find section I will add my period, and in the replace section I will add nothing, and if I click on replace all, we have removed our all of the periods. I will copy all of these extensions, and in my Burpsuite what I will do, I will send this request to Intruder. Now Intruder is the place where we do a brute forcing attack. So if I go to Intruder, if I go to positions, it will highlight all of the stuff, but I don't want to do a brute force attack on all of these highlighting points. So first of all I will clear all of these, and I will select only the thing which I want to do a brute force. So I want to do a brute force on only extension, so I will select only extension, click on add, and now only extensions has been added. If I go to my payloads, and if I paste my payloads, these are my payloads, and these has been pasted, and let's start the attack, and let's see whether we have any strange results. And we can see if I click on the length 1 or 2 times, so we can see we have one strange result, which is phtml, and the length of the request is or the response is 723. Rest of the extensions, we have the length of 737. So this means that there is something strange in this response. So let's click on this one. If I see the response and if I scroll down at the very bottom, we can see we have a success message here. So this means that the phtml file extension does work and we can upload phtml onto the web server. Now if you want to do this more specific, what you can do is you can go to you can just copy the error message you are seeing. We can see we have error message of extension not allowed. So what we can do, we can copy the error message, go to Intruder again, into the options, we will use Grep-Match. So I will clear the list, I will paste my error message here, and now if I do start attack, we will be going to see some checkboxes again. And why these checkboxes are being made, it tells us that we have an error message on all of these extensions, but if we go to phtml, we can see the checkbox is not marked. So this means that this phtml request is giving some other error, and what is that it's saying that we have success, we can upload a phtml file. So now I know that I can upload a phtml file. Let's come back to our terminal. I will create my phtml file. Let's create touch test.html and let's do hello into here. Now if I go to my browser, browse test.html, click on open, submit, and we have a success message. Now the very first thing we need to do is we need to see that where my file has gone. So in my directory BruteForcing, I saw that there is in internal tab we have uploads directory. So it might be possible that there might be our uploaded file will be there. So if I remove index.php, go to uploads, hit enter, and we can see test.html is uploaded successfully. If I click on this one, and our message also appears here which says hello. So now I know that I can upload files, I can execute files as well, and my anything which is in my file is being rendered onto the browser. So now I can go malicious, and now I will download a malicious shell from to the Google, and I will simply upload it onto the web server, execute it, and I will have control over to the system. Now Kali Linux comes pre-installed with some PHP reverse shell. So if I do locate PHP reverse shell, and we can see we have some PHP reverse shell so in the root, and you will be having that in user share web shells, this one. So I will simply copy this to my current working directory by doing a period sign, hit enter. If I do ls, I have php reverse shell.php. Let's open this in Sublime Text Editor. And this is the reverse shell. This is a huge PHP code, but what we need to do is we need to simply change two things. One of them is our IP and the second one is port. Now you can select any port which is any quad number. You can do 1234, you can do quad 4, you can do quad 9, any 4-digit number, that's fine. So but you need to change the IP address, and what you need to do is you need to simply go type in ifconfig, hit enter, and you will be having your IP address which is on tunnel 0, and the IP address is right now I am having is 10.9.116.94. I will copy this IP address and I will let you know why we need to do that. So I will paste the IP address here. Let's say let's do port to 4444, and I will save this one. Now I will change the file extension from php to phtml. So I will move php reverse shell.php to php reverse shell.html to change the file extension ls, and now we have changed our file extension. Now I will upload this shell to my web server. So coming back to internal, I will click on browse, php reverse shell.html, open, submit, and we have success message. If I go to uploads, we can see php reverse shell.html. Now the reason why I specified my IP address and port, because I need to start our listener. Now why I need to start our listener? Because when I will execute my reverse shell from here, I need somewhere to get the connection back from this system to my Kali machine. So I need to have access of this system. For that purpose, we use a tool called netcat. Now I'll close this one, clear the screen, and I will use netcat. Now what netcat is, it is used for listening for incoming connections. So I will do netcat-nvlp on port 4444, and if I hit enter, you can see it says listening on any port, any interface on port 4444. Now if I go back to my browser, if I click on php reverse shell.html, we can see it's reloading and it will never stop because my shell has been executed onto the web server. And here we can see connect to 10.9.1.16.94 from 10.10 to 38.50t, which means that we have gained access over to the system. Our reverse shell got executed and we have our initial foothold. So I can execute commands onto the web server. I can do anything onto the web server. So if I type in who am I, we can see I am www-data. Now the main thing is that www-data is very low privileged user. We need to have administrator access. So in Linux, the administrator access means root access. So in Windows, we say administrator. In Linux, we say root. So now I need to have root access. For that, I will do privilege escalation. So I will escalate my privileges to root. I will find some sort of vulnerabilities. I will do some enumeration, and I will be looking for any vulnerability by which I can exploit that and I can gain root access. So let's start off with our enumeration. I will do ID to see my user ID and group ID, and let's see what groups I am a member of. But right now, my user ID is 33, my group ID is www-data, my groups is again, I am a member of only www-data groups. That's fine. Let's see the kernel information. So I'll do uname -a, and it says Linux Vulnerability 4.4.0 Now I can do is I can again do Searchsploit to see whether we have any exploit for this kernel version, but 4.40 is quite updated, I think so. We might not have any exploit, but let's do Searchsploit. Linux 4.40-142, and while that's running, let's do our enumeration more. We can see we are having 64-bit operating system because it says x86_64, which means it is an 64-bit operating system. Now if it would have been 32-bit operating system, it might be having i386 here, so which means it is 32-bit. So it is 64-bit, and our Searchsploit is done, and we can see we are not having any exploit for 4.4. We do have one exploit for 4.4.0, but it is for less than 4.4.0. So that's fine. Let's start our enumeration, but before doing our enumeration, we need to update the shell, because if I press Ctrl C here, we can see my shell has been gone and I have no more access to our system. So I need to fix this up. So to do that, I will again start my listener. I will come back here. I will execute this again, and I got a connection back. I will use Python and I will import I will use the module pty of Python. So Python -c for command. The command which I want to execute is import pty. Then I will specify pty.spawn and I will spawn bin bash. So spawn bin bash, and if I hit enter, now we can see I have a neat shell. It says www-data at vulnerability, but still if I press Ctrl C, my shell will die. So to fix that, what we can do is we can background the process here. So I will press Ctrl Z and I will do stty raw dash echo semicolon and then foreground to just simply get back into my session. If I hit enter one more time, I am back into my shell. And I will do is we need to specify our rows and columns. So I will do stty rows. My rows are at the top in my terminator 55 and my columns are 238, and I will export few variables as well. So I will export term is equal to x term, and I will export, or let's do simply execute bin bash. Now if I press Ctrl C, hopefully my shell does not expires and now I have complete access. If I press Ctrl L, now the reason why I exported the variable of xterm, because if I press Ctrl L I can also do my shortcut keys, because Ctrl L clears the screen. Now I have a fully interactive shell. So let's start our enumeration. I have done who am I am www-data id. I am uid of 33. I'm a member of only www-data groups. That's fine. Let's move on to ls and let's see what's running in our directories and whether we have any potential file. So the very first thing I like to do is I like to see what are the users of the system. So cat etc password, and we see a lot of users, but the one which are users are at the very bottom with the users id of 1000. So we have bill, one user which is having a home directory in home/bill, and then we have a root user as well, and I don't think so we have any other user because all of them are default users. So let's see whether we have anything interesting in our build directory. So if I go to home ls, we have build directory. So let's go to build ls-la to see hidden files as well, and we have the flag here. So now we have user.txt file, we have the flag, that's fine. Now we need privilege escalation and we need to get the root.txt file as well. So nothing interesting here. We can also do history to see whether we have any history commands, but right now I can only see my only commands on in the history, so that's fine. Then we can look for different directories like opt, because there might be something interesting in those directories, but nothing is in opt directory, that's fine. And let's look for our sudo privileges. So if I do sudo -l, it says password for www-data. I don't have a password right now, so I will press Ctrl C. So after doing sudo privileges, I will look for Suid binaries. So for that, I need to do find in my home directory with the permissions of 4000, and I will pipe it out to dev null so that I don't want to see any errors. So dev null, hit enter, and hopefully it will list us all of the Suid binaries. And if you don't know what Suid binary is that we can, if Suid bit is set to any executable or any binary, what we can do is we can execute that binary with the root privileges. So now we have a list of Suid binaries. These all are Suid binaries, and we can execute these all with the root privileges, which is administrator privileges. So now this is from experience, because as a beginner you will not be able to know that which Suid binary bit is vulnerable. So what you can do is you can simply go to Google. You can go to a very excellent website which is GTFOBINS. Click on first link, and this is the website which is available for Suid binaries, pseudo privileges, capabilities, or any other sort of vulnerability. And we can simply go to this website and we can say that do we have any vulnerability for any Suid binaries. For example, we are having like sudo. So sudo is in the list of Suid binaries, so I can do sudo here and we can see it says no binary matches, so that's fine. Now what you can do as a beginner is you can copy paste all of these binaries into GTFOBINS, and let's see what are the vulnerabilities, which binary is vulnerable. But from my experience, I know that the strange binary which looks to me is this one, which is bin systemctl. If I copy this systemctl into my GTFOBINS systemctl, and we can see I have systemctl binary here, and it says suid and sudo. So if I click on this one, and if I see the suid section, because I know that this is an suid binary, so it says we need to run all of this script to execute command. So let's see what this script is being doing. So I'll copy this script into my notes, and it looks like it is executing some sort of service, and the command which it is executing is id command, and the output of id command is being redirected to temp output. So let's copy the script as it is, and let's see whether our id command gets executed or not. But before doing that, we need to change the script a little bit. What we need to do is we need to change the path. So we don't have an absolute path, we should have the complete path. So the complete path is bin systemctl, we can see in this binary. So if I will do bin systemctl, I will do bin systemctl here as well, and let's copy all of this script as it is, and let's see whether it works or not. So I'll control shift v, hit enter one more time, and it worked. Let's see in our temp, do we have any output file? ls, and we can see we do have output file. If I cat out this output file, and it shows that we have successfully executed our id command, and we can see the output of id command. It says user id of 0, which means root, and we are root actually, and the group id is root as well, and the groups is also root. So now I know that my commands are executed. So let's change the script, because I don't need to execute id command, I need to gain complete root access of the system. So I will remove this part from here, and what I can do is, here are a lot of things. I can simply paste a payload and get a reverse shell, or I can do is I can set an SUID bit onto bin bash and simply gain root access by executing it. So let's try both of the methods. So the first method I will go for is setting SUID bit on bin bash and executing bin bash with -p flag to maintain user privileges. And the second method which I will going to use is I will go to Google, I will download a payload from Google, change the payload with my IP address and port, and try to get a reverse shell. So let's start off with the SUID bit. So to set up SUID bit, I need to use change mode command. So change mode plus s to set SUID bit, and I will say that please set SUID bit on bin bash like this. But before executing this, let me show you the privileges on bin bash. So if I do ls-la on bin bash, we can see right now we are not having any SUID bit set on bin bash. We are having read, only root user is having read, write, execute access. Then any member of root group is having only read and execute, and any user is having read and execute. So right now we are not having any SUID bit set here. Now let's copy this source script, paste the script here, hit enter one more time, and now if I do ls-la on bin bash, we can see now SUID bit has been set, and we can see we are having s at the third part, which means that this is an SUID bit. Now what I can do is simply, if I do /bin bash -p, if I hit enter, we can see it executed successfully. And why it executed successfully? Because SUID bit was set on this, and when SUID bit is set, we can run anything as root. So I executed bin bash -p, which means to maintain my user privileges, and we can see a pound sign at after bash dash 4.3, which means I am root. So if I type in who am I am root onto the system, and I have gained complete access off to the system. So if I go to my root directory, here I will have a flag cd /root ls, and we have the flag here as well. So we have completed the box. Now let's do the second method as well. Now let's say we don't want to set suid bit on to the bin bash. We need to do a reverse shell. So I will go to Google, and let's say reverse shell cheat sheet, and again payload all the things appears, reverse shell cheat sheet. Let's click on this one, and let's see what sort of payloads we can execute. Now here we will be having a lot of payloads. We can use bash, we can use python, we can use netcat. So the one which will work in this case is, I think so, it is this one. So let's try. If this would not work, I will go for python. If python will not work, I will go for bash. So let's paste the payload in here. And why I'm using this payload, because I need to get a reverse connection. So I need to change my IP and port for getting a reverse connection. And I will set my local IP, which is 10.9.116.94, and I will change my port to 4444 one more time. Let's save this one, and for this I need to start my netcat session again to listen for the incoming connection. So netcat-nvlp on port 4444, hit enter. Now I am already root here, so I will exit out from here. And now if I type in who am I am now again www-data, and let's copy all of the script here, paste here, hit enter one more time, and now you can see my payload has been executed, and now I am having a reverse shell as well. So here we were having two methods to get a root level access, which is the complete access of the system, and we found the vulnerabilities of systemctl because there was suid bit set on that one, and we gained access to root. So this was the box. If I go to cd into root, if I do ls, we have root.txt. So let's come back to our main page, and let's see what were the questions which it was asking. So the first one was, can you deploy the machine? Yes, we deployed the machine. Let's go into reconnaissance section. It is asking the questions for Nmap. So scan the box, how many ports are open. So we see how many ports were open. We see 6 ports open. So let's see if it's correct. Yes, it is correct. What version of Suid proxy is running? It is 3.5.12. Let's paste this in here. How many ports will Nmap scan if the flag is -p-400? So now when we are having a flag of -p-, which means we need to scan a specific number of ports, and whatever number we specify, it will scan that port. So here we have -p-400, which means it will scan all first 400 ports. So if I do, the answer is 400. Now using the nmap flag -n, what will it not resolve? So what we can do is we can go to our nmap help menu. So if I do nmap -h for help, we can see what -n does. So hopefully -n does not resolve DNS, and we can see into the description -n never do DNS resolution. So hopefully never do DNS. Then we have what is the most likely operating system. We can see into our SSH banner details that Ubuntu is running onto the box. So hopefully the operating system will be Ubuntu. And let's see what was the hint for this one. So clicking on the hint, it says run nmap with -o flag. Now why I didn't run -o, because -a means aggressive scan, and -a has the -o flag in it. So doing -a is absolutely fine. What port is web server running on? Web server is running on port 3128 and 3333, both of them. So let's try for 3333 because we exploited that web server and it is correct. Let's click on this one and locating directories then. What is the directory that has an upload form page? It was internal, we found using Gobuster. And compromise the web server. It is also telling us that we need to use Burpsuite here. If you don't know how to use Burpsuite, you can simply go to the room of Burpsuite and do some practice for the Burpsuite. So try upload a few files, type of the server what common extension seems to be blocked. Now I tried for text file, it was also blocked. I tried for JPEG, it was also blocked. So almost all of the extensions were blocked. So let's do .txt. It says answer is incorrect. I think so. The web server was Apache, so PHP. Yes, so PHP is the correct answer. That's fine. Let's move on, and it is also telling us the same thing, cat PHP. He is also having the file extensions PHP, PHP3, 4, 5, phtml, and in his case it says run this attack, what extension is allowed, and we know phtml is allowed because we used Intruder of Burpsuite. Then it says what is the name of the user who manages the web server. This is strange. Let's come back here, because we got an access with www-data. So let's see how many users do we have. So get etc password. We have only one user, which is Bill. So hopefully Bill is using web server or manages the web server. So if I type in Bill, okay, so this is the correct answer. And then we have the user flag, which will be present in home Bill. If I do ls cd into home, ls cd into Bill, ls, this file will contain the user flag. You can simply paste the user flag in here. And in the privilege escalation part, it says on the system search for all suid files, what file stands out, and the one which was strange was systemctl. So again, for the beginners, you will not be able to know that bin systemctl is vulnerable. Again, this is for from experience, but what you can do is, again, you can copy each suid binary which you can look that is strange. You can go to GTFOBINS, paste that binary and see whether we have any something exploit for that or not. And finally, become the root and get the last flag which is present in root.root.txt. So simply we can go to cd/root ls, and if I cat this file out, we will be having the flag. So this was the box. I hope you enjoyed the video. Take care. I will see you in the next video. Thank you.